Our esteemed Prime Minister is actually embarrassing the country with his spineless attitude to Israel and matters Middle East. So what is he doing in his spare time? Well, he's getting onto social media, trying to play people's hero in the supermarkets. Have a look at this.
You will have seen it. A product comes out in new packaging. It's the same price as before, but the box feels a little bit lighter. It's called shrinkflation. And it's a trick supermarkets and food retailers use to charge you more when you're getting less.
Mark, this is beyond satire. He is satirising himself. This is the incredible shrinking Albanese before our very eyes.
He's just so desperate for any sort of positive press at the moment. You can see it in his face. He's just desperate for it. And it's weird because I know that they're all playing buddies anyway with the big supermarkets. You know, when you've got immigration levels as unsustainable as they are, that's feeding into the supermarkets, which is helping them, and it's helping the banks, and that's what it all is. They're all mates behind the scenes. This is kind of this is a weird thing. This is all just for TikTok and just to try and get some positive reviews for once for Albo, but it is embarrassing.
Tim, yeah, it's just so embarrassing. It's so un-prime ministerial. He can't handle the big stuff, so he wants to be the checkout guy.
It might be un-prime ministerial, but it certainly is presidential, because Joe Biden tried exactly this same dumb distractionary tactic.
Did he?
You know, as his brain was turning into breakfast cereal, and it seems, I keep talking about this, every dumb idea out of the US left ends up being adopted by the Australian left. And this is another one, shrinkflation. It's, you know, when you're following ideas that were abandoned by Joe Biden 6 months ago, you're really not trying very hard, are you?
Spot on. Well, speaking of Joe Biden, of course, as you'd both know, America's been hit by another horrific hurricane. A lot of flooding in Florida. There always is, because it's about 1.5 metres above sea level right across Florida. But of course, it's climate change that's driving this. Who knows? Who's the expert on this? Joe Biden. Have a look.
Let me close with this. Nobody can deny the impact of climate crisis anymore. At least I hope they don't. They must be brain dead if they do.
You must be brain dead if you deny it, Mark. This is the world's leading expert on brain dead.
Yeah, I think I had the same reaction as everyone else when they saw that this morning. They all went, I'm brain dead. Like, it's kettle black. I just turned into a primary school kid. I was like, you are? It takes one to know one. I started doing all this to the computer screen. Just ridiculous. Absurd.
Yeah, and Tim, I don't know whether you're a Tim Tam man, but we've been talking about how they've hit $6 in Australia. Somebody's gone to the trouble to check the price in the UK. They're cheaper in England. We're going to have people smuggling Tim Tams back into the country where price. Maybe Albo needs to get on this. Albo needs to do a TikTok on Tim Tam.
Are we going to have an election on Tim Tam shrinkflation? Because that would be something else, wouldn't it? But it is. This whole story reminds me of when the internet was a baby, when things were just happening and people were able to communicate much more easily across nations. Some enterprising Australian mothers whose kids were in the UK, they set up an internet thing so that their offspring could buy Australian products. And great idea. So they were buying Cherry Ripes and Tim Tams. The most popular international item, though, for kids overseas, Australian kids overseas, Salada biscuits.
Salada, gotta love your Salada. All right, thanks for joining us, guys. Keep an eye on the incredible shrinking Prime Minister for us. He's going to disappear before our very eyes.